Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that needs to get a refund from its psychic. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 41, Vets and New Threats, Episode 15. You had people breaking the rules in daily challenges. You have the Upstairs Alliance splintering because Aviv may or may not be actually upset. And apparently your birthday doesn't exempt you from possibly being sent into elimination. Oh, the world, what are we doing? That's right, we have all of that to talk about and more, but let's first start off where last episode left off, and that was Turbo and Sydney winning against Leo and Ashley in the elimination and coming back to the challenge house. Turbo is feeling very exhausted. He's already feeling under the weather, and then he had to do 35 laps carrying cannonballs, get this man some chicken noodle soup, and to bed ASAP. Before this week's daily challenge, we do get a barrage of phone calls from back home. You have Nani calling Jenna. It's cool to see Jenna back on the challenge in some capacity, as well as seeing the friendship of Nani and Jenna still be strong. You have Theo getting to talk with his son, and Jake has a conversation with his parents, and we get to see Lenny, who is a proper boy, as well as there is a cake and a candle to celebrate Jake's birthday, which, did you know around the time of this episode was being filmed that it was Jake's birthday? Because you would have never known because they hardly mention it. And just in case, that was me being sarcastic. Everybody dons their challenge gear, head down to meet up with TJ for this week's daily challenge, Dirty Drifter. There is a van with a giant chain wrapped all around it. One person will be outside the van and have to undo the entire chain from the van. Once that's done, they have to attach the van to a tow truck and then release a lever. Their partner will then take over because as the van is getting pulled, then they have to maneuver around these box towers, which will deduct 30 seconds from their time of every tower that they can navigate around successfully. The team with the lowest amount of time will win safety. This challenge was one of the most promoted daily challenges in all of the trailers leading up to this season. We saw vans being flipped on their sides and upside down, leaving us as the challenge audience going, what could this challenge entail? I will say that I like some of the creativity of this daily challenge, but at the same time, this is a not so fast with chains around a van, which we already kind of had a not so fast daily challenge with the Running Man daily challenge that also included giant chains and a car. For this to be mainly just undoing a chain around a van and then having to weave around box towers, and not that many box towers, it was like 5 or 6 at the most. I just found this daily challenge a bit underwhelming, and maybe a giant factor that plays into it not feeling that exciting is because Theo and Adrienne get disqualified. Theo is inside the car because of him being a go-kart champion. Adrienne is undoing the chains. She looks like she's doing a pretty good job, but at one point, Theo just decides to reach his hand out and start pulling on the chains. I guess it wasn't explicitly said in the rules that the person inside the car couldn't pull the chains, but in saying that, there are 2 separate distinct roles per player. TJ and somebody on the production team is yelling at Theo multiple times to stop pulling on the chain, and Theo just can't help himself, and it leads to them being disqualified and getting last place. Now, I mentioned back at the Running Man challenge that Michaela said, oh, there goes cheating Theo, and said that maybe that was a bit too harsh. Well, she could have said it here and I would have been perfectly fine with that, because maybe he was pushing the boundaries of the rules, but once TJ tells you to stop, you should stop. And he messes up his entire alliance's plan because, boom, there goes one of your 3 votes down the drain. And that's them going after Jake and Aneese, who also did very poorly on this daily challenge, because when their turn was up, Jake was inside the car, harkening back to the Running Man challenge where Aneese had Jake push because they couldn't get the car started. In this challenge though, they didn't have to start the car, so I thought it was very interesting and why they had Aneese pulling the chains instead of being in the car, but they decided to do it. From the edit and the confessionals, it sounds like Aneese went very, very slow, slower than everybody else, and then it did not help that Jake was all types of confused on where he needed to go to get around these boxes and get the time off because he missed every single gate. So realistically, it probably didn't matter that Theo and Adrienne got disqualified and was sent directly to the elimination, because if they would have completed the challenge, it probably would have been Jake and Aneese getting last place and being sent directly to the elimination. Let's check in with one more team, and that is Will and Olivia, who have been butting heads in every single daily challenge. But with this daily challenge, it works to their benefit because they don't have to communicate with each other. Will is doing his own thing, pulling off these chains, and he is going super quickly. They have a great time as he attaches the tow truck to the van, and once it starts to go, Olivia starts to panic a little bit because as it is getting pulled, she starts to really pull that steering wheel to get past the first box tower. Then she overcorrects, yanking the steering wheel to the other side. The van turns perpendicular and flips over, only passing one gate, only getting 30 seconds off their time. But that is enough time because the next closest team was Justin and Nany, who had 12 minutes, and Will and Olivia won with a time of 7.5 minutes. So congratulations to Will and Olivia. Really, Will did a lot of the work and heavy lifting here. Literally, but it is not congratulations to Jake and Aneese, who are basically a sitting duck. The UK/Downstairs Alliance was hoping to leave this daily challenge with 3 votes in their pocket. Instead, Theo and Adrienne are being sent directly to the elimination, no vote in the voting ceremony, and Will and Olivia won, meaning they don't get a vote. And coming back to the challenge house, the Downstairs Alliance is trying to figure out a plan on maybe getting Jake and Aneese off the hook. Aneese is thinking maybe, possibly, there is an instance that Nany won't want to say my name, and maybe if I push another name like Aviv and Jeremy, that they could be the ones being sent into elimination against Theo and Adrienne. We get to the bar scene where Jake gets a little fun birthday surprise. Hey, did you know that it's Jake's birthday this episode? And while at the bar, this is where Aneese comes up to Nany and they have a conversation where Aneese is like, hey, what are you thinking about the vote? Would you possibly be thinking about not voting for me, best buddy? Nany basically tells Aneese tough luck and good luck in tomorrow's elimination. And Aneese's like, what? You would vote for me? And it's like, seriously, Aneese, have you not been paying attention of what's been going on during this season? Like, you didn't have this giant argument with Nany like a couple of episodes ago? Yeah, you probably squashed the beef and that wouldn't ruin a friendship over it, but you seriously think that Nany is going to stick her neck out for you, somebody who has not been playing alongside her this entire game? That you've been actively hanging out on the other side of the house with Olivia and everybody else that they've been trying to get out of here? You really think that Nany's just gonna be like, yeah, I'll try to save you? No! So it's pretty much written in stone when we get back to the challenge house and get to the voting ceremony. It comes down to 4v1 for Aneese and Jake to be sent into elimination. And this is where we see dissension among the Upstairs Alliance, mainly with them versus Aviv. Because when we go back to the bar scene, you have Aviv talking with Theo, being like, hey, we talked about seeing each other in the final. Hopefully you can come back and we can do that and everything like that and have this conversation between them. Also, Jeremy was hanging around with Olivia and the Downstairs Alliance like all night. Michaela and Cedric were keeping their eyes on them. Cedric even said, like, I'm so tired of having these fake conversations day in and day out. And more specifically, I'm frustrated with all the fake talk that other people are doing, i.e., Aviv and Jeremy lead into the voting ceremony. When Aviv stands up to give her vote against Jake and Aneese, Aviv talks about how they're still voting in their sides of the house using air quotes, which I saw in the background. Cedric was like, why is there quotes? Why are you quoting it? Aviv gives this heartwarming speech about how she doesn't want to vote for Aneese because how close of a friends they are outside the house, but this is how the game is played. Then after the voting ceremony, once everybody is in the game room, Aviv comes up to Aneese with tears in her eyes and gives Aneese a hug, and Aneese has to console Aviv for voting for her, and she's doing this in front of everybody, which the Upstairs Alliance says that this is fake, this is crocodile tears, she's being calculated, she's trying to play this mom role, she's trying to pull the wool over our eyes. Aviv and Jeremy needs to be stopped. Personally, my 2 cents, I don't see Aviv trying to be fake. I think that Aviv really puts up this cold exterior, analytical, business-like exterior for 99% of the time, but as the game goes on and all these emotions are running through you throughout weeks and months of playing this game, that I think that at this point it kind of got the best of her in this moment and she was just showing some vulnerability. I don't think Aviv was trying to play it up to try to get sympathy from anybody. But when you're living with all of these people and doing this game for 24/7, once something annoys you, it's just going to eat away at you. And I think that's where it is, where it's like, okay, I finally found something in this game that is making me annoyed and it's gonna bother me until I do something about it. And maybe something will happen in an upcoming episode. But we're gonna put a pin in that for now as everybody gets ready, heads down to the arena to meet up with TJ for this week's elimination called Loose Ends. The player's gonna have to untangle some cords that are on this giant spool and then plug them in. The first team to plug in all 3 of their cords will win and stay in the game, while the other 2 people will be eliminated. I was a little surprised about this elimination game because the daily challenge was about untangling. So you have 2 untangling tasks in the same episode. Feels kind of redundant, feels a little derivative. I do like the optics of the giant spool. I do like this elimination game in the sense that the person on top of the spool and on the bottom of the spool have equal important jobs that they have to accomplish effectively, as well as have good team communication and endurance to get this done effectively and efficiently. But again, 2 untangling tasks in one episode feels repetitive, as well as it wasn't that thrilling to watch in my opinion. It felt like each team had an equal opportunity to win if they were able to put their strategies into place. It felt like in the beginning, Aneese and Jake had better communication than Theo and Adrienne. I mean, much better communication, because Adrienne has been saying for a while now that Theo will not listen to her. She said it in the daily challenge this past week, she said it in the hate challenge, and it happened again. They had some miscommunication. Theo is just being super stubborn to where Adrienne got to the breaking point of putting her hands up and walking away from Theo, being like, if you're not gonna listen to me, then we're done. And she started walking away. That's when Theo was like, oh wait, I was wrong. You tell me what to do. And Adrienne, I think in this moment, found her strength and found her voice to the point where she's like, I'm gonna put my foot down from here on out. Because I remember with the hate challenge, Adrienne was like, do you want to try? And Theo was just like, no, let's go get another one. To where in this elimination, she finally was like, no, you're either going to listen to me or we're done. And I think that flipped a switch in both Theo and Adrienne, where Adrienne really took the lead here. Theo took a back seat and was listening to Adrienne, and they were able to get this elimination done, getting 3 cords plugged in to Jake and Aneese's 0. Jake and Aneese, again, started off really strong, but kind of tapered out to the end. Adrienne and Theo were able to pull out another win, and I hate to say it, but it just felt like this was going to happen at some point this season. That Jake and Aneese would find themselves in elimination, most likely towards the end of the game, because that's like Aneese's MO. She's able to get deep within the game because of her connections and friendships, but eventually, as the game goes on, getting closer and closer to the final, people in the house are like, who can we vote in? Oh, that's right, we can vote in Aneese. And she normally gets eliminated so close to the final, and this season, it's no different. And Theo and Adrienne just get another win, get their 4th elimination win of the season. It's so impressive that they've been able to go in and come back every single time. But that is it for this week's episode. We have 6 teams left. I think we have 2 more daily challenges, and the preview to next week looks as though that things could get really shaken up in the game. What could happen? Who knows? I'm looking forward to it because we are so close to the final. We do have like 1 or 2-ish episodes before we get to the final. Normally it's like 2 or 3 episodes for the final, so we are down to the nitty-gritty. And I'm looking forward to any shakeup, as well as the Upstairs Alliance turning on each other, because we're getting to the point where you have to look out for yourself and look out for the final. Yes, you want to keep yourself safe, but you also got to start thinking about making moves on teams that you don't think you can beat in the final. There's a point in the game where you got to take risks, and I'm hoping we see that happen very, very soon, or this could play out very predictably heading into the final, which I do not want to see predictable. I want to see fireworks as we make it to the final. I can't believe that episode 15 is over and we're heading into episode 16, then 17, and most likely that means that the final is right around the corner. I cannot wait. But now I want to turn it over to you. What'd you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What'd you think about the daily challenge, Dirty Drifter? What'd you think about the elimination, Loose Ends? What was your opinion about Theo touching the chains? Do you think it was the right decision for the Upstairs Alliance just to default in voting in Aneese and Jake? Or do you think they should have done something different with how small the numbers are and how close to the final they are. Let me know anything and everything you felt about this episode, as well as what do you think could happen next week with the shakeup, as well as do you think that the Upstairs Alliance are actually going to splinter before the final, or do you think they're going to keep on defaulting and targeting Theo and Adrienne? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I now want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 41 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.